You know, it might come to a shock to some of you, but I do in fact play modern games. It's a little hard to tell since I've only looked at 4 modern games throughout my content, but yes, I'm not a hipster. In fact, some of my favorite video games came from the 7th generation of gaming, with one of them being Red Dead Redemption. Honestly, there's a reason why this game was voted Game of the Year. It did so many things right. It took the GTA formula and adapted it to a Wild West setting really good. Many gameplay tropes that Rockstar does so well surprisingly complemented this game's setting. This is where the more realistic approach that Rockstar has been doing with GTA games, in my opinion, greatly benefited Red Dead more than it ever did the Grand Theft Auto series. It made this game's Wild West feel really authentic. The standard elements like shooting and exploring were just as good as it ever was. Riding horses felt so natural, and in my opinion, I kinda liked it a lot more than cars. Hunting and salvaging stuff like plants to not only craft for items or sell for cash, but for actual challenges was addicting. Not to mention treasure hunting felt very real. And speaking of hunting, having to be in an area where bears spawn was always so nerve-wracking. These fuckers were tough, popped out of nowhere half the time, and their growls were so low that they made me feel more tense in a video game than any horror game ever has. That deserves a higher review score just because of that. But even the story and its characters, and I'm not someone that's all that big on story in video games. In my opinion, gameplay should always be the focus first and foremost. If I want a good story, I'll read a book or watch a movie. Now, I'm not saying that video games can't have great stories and characters, but it shouldn't be at the cost of gameplay itself. But goddamn, they somehow did it! Because Red Dead Redemption has an amazing story and characters without undermining the gameplay. And John Marston was such a breath of fresh air, too. He's not your smartass with a heart of gold pretty boy, no, he's got a rough past and it shows in his look, his actions, hell, even in his voice. You can tell even before knowing anything about him, he's lived a bloody past. I love his story, his backstory, and the shit he has to go through in this game. Forced to confront his past just to keep his family safe, and oh my god, the ending, even that too! I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but let's just say it'd be in my top 3 video game endings. The shock factor and the emotions you feel for it was truly unexpected. If there's anything bad that I can even nitpick at is maybe the fame and morality meter wasn't done well. From what I remember, it didn't have much of an impact or impact at all outside of certain discounts at stores. But again, it's so minor, so who really gives a shit? So for the main game of Red Dead Redemption, if you haven't played it yet, well, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you watching this? Go play the fucking game. Don't worry, you won't regret it.